Internet pit stop. Why does Ocarina of Time feel like that? We went to watch it the other night, but it was too late to like watch the whole thing. And we literally have about 50 minutes.
How does this make you feel?
Bro, gives me chills is what it does. Absolute chills.
I won't be the first or last white guy in a Link outfit telling you literally highest rated
Forest Temple music will give me chills every single time. The atmosphere in there is elite.
thing ever. It's pretty good. But while there's a lot of videos that talk about Ocarina of Time's gameplay, story.
It's only the highest rated game of all time. Just only, you know.
Game design, you know, important stuff.
But no one's talking about the stupid shit that I care about. It's the tiny little details that actually make this game stand out.
I think many will walk this land, but none will ask the most important questions.
What's the vibe? Ocarina of Time has always had this kind of weird liminal vibe or atmosphere, if you want to use like a big old gamer word.
Big old gamer word.
Not the one on the bridge. Like, how does one game go from
Bull
feeling
knowledge
like this to then feeling like this? Oh.
And somehow all feel completely natural in the exact same rated E Nintendo game.
And with all the rumored remake talks going around,
it's not a rumor anymore. Oh, wait, I didn't even see the screen. Oh, chat, I didn't even see the screen, I swear.
Many vibes because I think it's far
oh
more
my god, I wasn't even looking at that.
People realize.
Sorry, I was talking over him.
Let's go back to the first time important and analyze this through my extensive page to a Google research, explore and analyze this game's many vibes because I think it's far more important than people realize. So let's go back to the first time I was ever inappropriately touched by Zelda's vibe when I gave that cartridge a fat threw it in the console.
It was good.
I spent way too long listening to this.
Hearing that every time you boot up the game was
Alright, I'm up,
amazing.
I'm up. Chill. What's up? It's me, your favorite shitty internet roommate. Zelda and Ocarina of Time do such a good job of creating worlds that feel tangible. Like even this cutscene at the very beginning of the game does such a good job of establishing the tone. It's playful, it's fun, it gears me up for adventure. But I think it only gets stronger the moment you take control and actually move your character. While many art forms can provide atmosphere, I always felt that video games are particularly special in this field. Immersion almost feels effortless in video games. And I think that's because they're an interactive medium, where one moment you're just playing a game and then
Dark Souls does a really
suddenly
good job of it, obviously.
I'm in this bit. You know, I didn't really think
I'm
about like a cinematic way for me to get down here.
Pretty good.
And already in this very first area, Ocarina of Time does such a good job of establishing a vibe. I mean, just take this in.
Yeah, the soundtrack does soundtrack does a lot of the lifting, heavy lifting.
I think the very first thing that'll captivate you about this place is that music. Of course, made by the legend Koji Kondo.
Koji Kondo,
like,
the
how
GOAT.
do you as one dude
The
make
GOAT.
the OG Super
I hope he comes
Mario
back.
theme?
I hope they get Koji Kondo back for the remake, chat. I hope they get Koji Kondo back. Let him finish what he started without the technical limitations of the N64. Please.
And the OG Zelda theme, and this entire Ocarina of Time soundtrack. I would say besides Lost Woods, this area's theme is the one that stayed in my brain no matter how much older I got. It fondly sits in my brain as like the sound of pure childhood wonder. Like, listen to this. It's this joyous, unabashedly wholesome ass song. To the point where instinctively as an adult, when I hear it, it almost sounds like, you know, like too much. I don't know if that makes sense completely, but it's like the idea of like, if you personify this song into a person, I feel like as an adult, you might want to be jaded and call it like naive. Like, look at bro, he really thinks life is just sunshine and fucking rain.
Yes,
It is. I'm
Especially
spinning
in
my
Kikiri-
propeller hat with
Kikiri
my
Forest.
comically large lollipop, and yeah, I might partake in a Capri Sun later, who knows? This is a peaceful, ageless, Neverland-esque forest haven playground. And we know that Neverland and the Lost Boys were a direct influence on this
Yep.
area. This whole place has a childlike feel to it. And you see this with the aesthetic of the area too. Ladders, tree houses, mazes, little crawl holes, and everything is covered in foliage and bathed in this Nintendo 64 green. And my favorite detail, just the amount of fireflies and fairies just dancing in the area, which just makes this place feel so alive. And I feel this even extends to the Lost Woods. If Kokiri is capturing the bliss and magic of childhood, then the Lost Woods, I feel, is capturing how the world feels like just that much more full of mystery. I think all these elements coalesce together to create a feel of endearing whimsy and curiosity. I would compare it to the feeling of exploring as a child around your house, which Miyamoto has talked about. A big part of how he even created the idea for Zelda was taking inspiration from when he was a kid and exploring in the nature
Yep.
around his house. Playing in grass,
Pokemon has
climbing
a lot of that
trees,
too.
looking under rocks, staring up at the sky as the sunlight peeks through the leaves, just not a care in the world. Until this little fuck tells you can't do shit because you're not a real Kokiri or whatever.
Based.
And this is the really cool thing about Atmosphere. Even if you haven't played the game before, there's an immediate nostalgia with this place. And that's completely intentional. They want you through the vibes of this area to feel that this isn't just Link's childhood, it's yours. So when you're older and you're dealing with adult problems like taxes and bills, and you're on a date and it's been like 30 minutes and she hasn't said a single thing about The Legend of Zelda, you're validly upset. But then you hear this and suddenly you're home again. I think it's quite obvious that this place, atmosphere-wise, is supposed to represent childhood. And I also think it's quite obvious and apt that right after you
Didn't mention Zelda.
experience this vibe, you are then
The
met
deal breaker.
with this.
Banger.
The feel of this opening scene alone does so much to not only help you understand the gravity of the situation, but how important this guardian spirit deity of the forest is. The seriousness of the music, the perspective of this shot to show how much he towers over you. You really feel that you're in the presence of something greater than you. And it hits even harder with the stark contrast of how carefree things just felt like 3 seconds ago. And as soon as you step inside this first dungeon of the game, it does such a good job atmosphere-wise showing the strength of 3D Zelda games' ability to create places with strong identity. It's no wonder that Ocarina's world would basically create the Zelda formula. And before I get those, actually, whippersnapper, Linkle who tinkled in the past. Shut your bitch ass up, Grandpa. Look at these triangular titties. Sorry, 12%. There's something so evocative about hearing nothing but great things about the Deku Tree from all the
Beautiful.
kids, to then literally
Beautiful.
running through his rotting corpse. You see aged green wood, vines everywhere. There's also water in some places that moisturize the wood of the tree, so I can totally imagine this place smelling like a forest after a rainy day.
Oh,
But the
yeah.
more you explore, the more corruption and infestation you find. Spider-like monsters crawling everywhere, webs covering the
Based off golden
walls. And it's
orbs.
that ambience of the monsters and the music coming together
Or orb
that really
weavers.
creates that kind of unsettling, crawling under your
They're
skin
everywhere in
vibe
Japan.
to this place. I mean, let's just
Everywhere.
listen to this theme for a little bit.
Beautiful.
This This is up there for me as one of the most like liminal space backrooms ass sounding songs in this game. It one makes me really feel like I'm on some Kagome, Alice in Wonderland, like stepping through a weird world kind of vibe. And it beautifully toes this line of sounding mysterious and creepy, but also weirdly enticing. And what I think is really cool is that the whole song is made up of just one sampled instrument, a woodwind instrument called a panpipe. Obviously using a woodwind instrument to make the sound of a tree, that connection's cool. But even deeper than that, I think using just one instrument and a wood instrument at that is there to give the idea that this sound that you're hearing is coming from the Deku tree himself. The idea that this music is just the sound of a hollow wind passing through this tree's body. And the only other sound you hear outside of that is the crawling of monsters. Altogether, I get the feeling of something sacred and magical being tarnished. And this feel only continues as you step out of here. All the music stops, and the only thing you hear is the Deku tree rotting to his death. And that same heaviness carries on as you leave Kokiri Forest, where we have this moment with Saria. While narratively this is about Link leaving his old town and friend, I think thematically and vibe-wise, for us, the reason this scene feels so heavy is because Kokiri Forest was established vibe-wise as our childhood. It's secluded and tucked away from the rest of the world. The Kokiri are told not to leave the forest. Adults are told that if they go and get lost, they'll turn to Stalfos. It feels like there's this protective bubble around our childhood. We have to go on our adventure, and so this scene represents the hesitation but ultimately decision to start the journey of leaving the innocence and safety of childhood.
Great Lost Woods like remix.
And then what we're met with is this.
Oh yeah. Yes, we are.
You know what this is missing? Parking lot.
Parking lot? What about like, you could fit like at least 4 data centers in that bad boy, I reckon.
Put a gas station right there. I think the vibe you're supposed to get from Hyrule Field when you see this big expansive for the time, here's the rest of the world. Good luck out there. You got these beautiful pastoral Windows XP head-ass rolling green hills with these bright blue skies. It's vast, it's open, it's free. Everything about it makes you excited to adventure. The music especially. Those twinkling opening chimes always made me feel like it's what bird chirping in the morning would sound like if it was turned into music. And those triumphant ass horns, and of course, the most essential
thought they were meant to be like birds.
Vibe and soundscape. And there's a lot that you can do from here, each with their own vibes. Solid snaking your way past the Castletown guards. Earning the respect of the Gorons through song and dance. Exploring the Dongo's cavern. It's hot. Or Jabu Jabu's belly. It's wet. Or just enjoying the comfy peace of Lon Lon Ranch.
It'd be humid in there.
I know I'm not the only one who would
actually
come here just to
it's wet, so yeah.
The serenity of this place sometimes. Listening to the horses neighing or the cows mooing with just that serene, cozy, sweet folk song that Malin is singing. This is probably the most relaxing atmosphere in this whole game. And it's a place that has forever stuck with me. But the thing is, while there is a lot of different things you can do, I feel that they all illustrate a very similar feeling. Like, don't get me wrong, there's some dark shit, like, what the fuck? But for the most part, I feel like this young Link portion of the game gives this idyllic, innocent,
not just yet.
lighter, and more fun and forgiving tone. You're making music with the frogs. You're helping a woman gather her cuckoos. Cuckoos? 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 Cuckoos. Cuckoos or Cuckoos? Cusco? Sneaking around the guards was never treated that seriously. And
Like
even
Gandalf
the
hitting the
main
Gority?
storyline of the game, which is this big plan that Zelda has for you, that plan gets thwarted by Ganondorf because at the end of the day, you were just some naive kids who thought you knew what you were doing. But it ended up being the reason that Ganondorf took over. Even the dungeons in this child portion, vibe-wise, feel more like
All good.
fairy tale storybook.
I'll have a look after this video.
You're exploring the spooky insides of an elder tree, a cave made of grand dinosaur bones, and even being eaten by a whale. But like the whale is chill, and the whole time inside the whale, you're just like helping this fish princess. The whole time in the dungeon, you're carrying her around, and this whale is like her pet that she feeds. And even the dialogue of the NPCs adds to this childlike, carefree vibe. A lot of it calls attention to you just being a kid and being very dismissive of you. Things like, oh, you're just a kid, you wouldn't understand. And it's funny because as a kid, I had no fucking clue what atmosphere was. Bro, all I knew was video games, Fruity Dino Bite cereal, and that Yu-Gi-Oh! GX was playing on Saturdays. But yet, when I look back at my most fondest nostalgic
GX.
memories of Ocarina of Time, the moments are all from this kid portion of the game, which I think is intentional. They created this more relaxing feeling so that we could have these more fond memories of the child portion of the game, much like how Link probably has. That's the power of atmosphere. Whether you know it exists or all you know is chilling out with the crew in the schoolyard, it could still affect you completely subconsciously. I spent a lot of time in this early part of the game just living in this vibe. I remember I would just chill in Kakariko for hours, just enjoying the chill and homey music, talking to all the silly NPCs and enjoying the lax living of the place. I remember how my older brother would always connect farm villages like this and their music to my family's home in Bosnia, which now whenever I hear this makes the nostalgic memories of these places even stronger. And my parents didn't really have the most money growing up, so I only really got one game per year for my birthday, which was usually whatever Dragon Ball game came out that year. But I did have two older brothers, which meant I got a grip of just hand-me-downs, and Ocarina of Time was one of them. So since I didn't have a lot of games, the ones I did have, I would play for like a whole year. I get my mileage out of them. I leisurely did all the side quests.
Bosnia are just really active on social media. Right. They're hilarious. They're in every... They're just in... You'll find the Bosnia social media page in just the most random places.
I found every weird detail. I explored every nook and cranny. Like, I could do a whole separate vid just talking about some of the comfiest houses in this game. Because I grew a attachment to some of the interiors of this game. I mean, look at this vibe. This is home to me. But probably the epitome of just glee and happiness in the kid portion of the game is Castletown. I fucking adore the vibe here. It's bright, it's cheerful, it's bustling, and it's filled with so much background noise. There's this constant sound of just crowd chatter and dogs barking. There's this dancing couple right here that are just like eternally spinning in the happiest of love you've ever seen. There's just so much life and joy here that it almost feels like too good to be true. Like, happiness like this can only exist in a video game type beat. I unironically just would be chilling in Hyrule Field and just watch that sunset as it went down multiple times. When it comes to this world, I was really in this bit. But we can't watch the sunset forever. Eventually, the day has to end, and we have to grow up.
Whoa.
Have you ever been playing a game and you get to an area and you just kind of have to stop, put the controller down, and just kind of exist there? I love that shit. I live for that shit. And that's exactly what happened here. When it comes to atmosphere, this is probably the most memorable moment for me in this game. It's probably the most engrossing vibe. Like, as soon as you come in, it feels like you stepped into the most important mythical place ever.
Blueprints is probably the last time.
This one little building that probably has less pixels or teraflops or terakabutops than than the thinnest ass hair on Arthur's butt. But because of its atmosphere, it feels like this religious holy sanctuary.
Oh, maybe
I could totally
actually maybe
imagine the
Resident Evil would be.
townspeople coming here as just a place of worship. And I think this is achieved through a couple of ways. For one, it's the aesthetic. It's this highly polished, pristine, marbled floor church with these windows that just have these holy lights that just cascade onto the area. There's just something about the aesthetic of this particular lighting, something real magical about that. Or just look at the way this sword is lit. I don't care how old this game
it's
is.
lit.
That has not been done again in the say that makes me feel the way this does. Like this feels biblical. This feels important. A lot of the architecture here takes influences from actual
wrong.
Roman-esque churches, which coincides with the other element that makes this place's atmosphere feel so tangible. What you're hearing in the Temple of Time is a Gregorian chant, which also has its roots in early Christianity. I think this place is able to feel as important as it is because it takes influence from real world importance. But again, without even knowing any of these cool little details, I still felt it. And I'm sure if you played this game, you felt this too. When I first got here as a kid, without being prompted or given a cutscene or the gameplay forcing my hand, I decided to just walk slowly and respectfully. I didn't need to do that.
Hello.
I just felt like I should. It's like I wanted to move at a pace that felt appropriate for the feeling this place gave to me. The atmosphere demanded importance. It demanded that I respect it. And that is the power of atmosphere. But as cool as this area is on its own, I'd say its real significance comes from it being the Temple of Time. It is from here that the entirety of this game's tone, feel, vibe, atmosphere, whatever you want to call it, completely changes and makes what I think one of the most impactful moments in a game.
What is this version
ever.
of the
When you
market?
pull that sword and grow up, and the world you knew, connected with, maybe even called home.
When we played it as a kid, I thought this was the end of the game. I thought we'd finished the game. Point.
Is now this.
Boy, were we shocked when we saw this.
This happening with no cutscene or anything, just pure gameplay and vibes, you having to be the one to move your character through it all, to see it, to feel it, that's what makes it as immersive as it is. Walking out to the castle town that you once knew, full of life, blue skies and sound, now being completely destroyed, it's just this complete stark and abrupt change of vibe. Everything in ruins, gnarled dead trees, foreboding dark skies, and the only sound you hear now being a hollow wind and the groaning of reeds. No game to this day has affected me in the same way that a moment like this has. It's stuff like this that really shines a light on how important the tone and feelings that a piece of art can deliver is to video games and just art in general. And this vibe is something you see all over the adult portion of the game. Lake Hylia has dried up, Death Mountain is erupting, Lon Lon Ranch isn't the same safe place to you anymore. And Kokiri Forest, the place that you once called home, is now infested with monsters. The areas and world that I got immersed in and had this familiar, lighthearted, easygoing vibe, so much so that it became nostalgic to me almost immediately. Now those same areas and that same world feel dark and serious and almost dystopian. If the child portion of the game contained my most fondest nostalgic memories, then I'd say this adult portion of the game is where I feel my most darkest, scariest memories of this game. Downright, there's some traumatic shit in this game.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
sure, don't get me wrong. N64
Oh, yeah.
graphics are always inherently gonna look a little uncanny. But I do feel it hits harder in Ocarina of Time because of this
most people
game's
played it as a kid.
contrast of
I played it when I was,
vibes.
like,
I think the way this game takes
28,
these places
5
that
years
we
old.
once knew and maybe even connected with, and then warps them into
Imagine a
something
5-year-old seeing
darker
a,
like
like,
this, is why
the market
this
and the Shadow
portion of
Temple
the
for the first
game
time.
feels so uncanny. And you see this darker, more strange tone even carry over to the dungeons. Instead of a fun, silly willy time inside a whale or Goron dancing, now we're fighting our own fucking shadow in like a weird liminal ass lake temple, or hearing the foreboding, haunting sound of the fire temple, or what I think is the best example to show
Forest
the
temple.
adult portion of this game's change in tone.
Oh, it's beautiful, is what it is.
The fact that we're just coming off the vibe of this whole world changing, only to be met with probably still the most creepy, evocative, atmospheric dungeon in the entire Zelda series.
I just want,
something
I don't want
about
them to
this
touch
place, this
the,
old haunted mansion.
I don't want them to touch the Forest Temple in the remake. I just want them to, like, keep the same, like, keep the, you can change the layout a little bit, but keep the vibe and atmosphere the same. Please do not change Forest Temple. That's the one temple I don't want them to. In fact, make it even creepier if they can. Make it darker. A bit more, like, lantern lit.
Mansion deep
Stuff like
in the
that.
Lost Woods. Aesthetically, one of my favorite things in the world is just greenery taking over leftover environments. I love that shit. And so being here, the questions that come to mind are like, how long has this place been here, as greenery has just completely immersed the place? The foliage is literally baked into the walls and ceiling. There's vines hanging from everywhere. You got monsters and cobwebs and mischievous ghosts that seemingly appear and reappear when you least expect it. And this is probably the most dense amount of liminal spaces within a single area in this game. You have that iconic old royal red carpet trippy ass hallway, which always kind of reminded me of the movie The Shining. This fucking checkerboard room, before we ever knew the term liminal space, the Forest Temple had that shit. This room does not feel like it belongs here at all, and I feel like I don't belong here. It's so off-putting and unsettling. It makes me feel like I'm a toy in a playset. And of course, right after that room, they give you this fucking room where you can't tell if you're upside down or the room is upside down, and you can't even spend too much time sitting there pondering on it, because of course there's a fucking inanimate hand that grabs you and takes you fucking who knows. Oh shit, I just dropped in the middle of a fucking bid for a PSP. Hold up, this is mine. I'm getting the shit. I won.
What not, bro?
Yo,
Let's go.
I fucking won. I just got a PSP. I just got a black 1000 PSP for only $87.
Is this a Whatnot
Prices
ad?
in the store are selling that for over 100. Even the pre-owned I can find are still over 100. Thanks to our sponsor, Whatnot.
Oh my
Whatnot
God,
is
it
an app that
is.
mixes selling items from whatever you're into, whether it's those funny $3 really and the auction like I just did with that. And back to the
Come on. Thank you.
are probably the most liminal and atmospheric spot in the whole dungeon, to me at least, this silent courtyard. Of course, like anywhere else, greenery completely
Courtyard used to creep me
encompasses
out
the space. There's a little river
as a
bank
kid.
right
Because
here.
it's
There's
the one,
those
the one part of the
patios
dungeon,
up there, which when
the
I
temple
look at
that's
them, I can't help
outside,
but think
the sun
of
shining down.
this place having to belong to some sort of royalty. I can imagine them standing up there and looking down into this courtyard. Then of course the bridge and these old crumbled ruins. All these places have that very same strangely familiar but slightly off vibe, like your typical liminal space. It feels like no matter where you go or look, you can't escape that feeling. Like, here, come here, Rumi. Lay down, lay down, lay down.
I can't lay down.
You can't even look up at
Yeah,
this blue
thank you.
sky without feeling a little off-put.
Because
Yes.
why does it look like that?
Yes.
Like, I'm kind of charmed by it because it kind of reminds me those little cartoon drawings of skies they make for like children.
Yes.
But I'm also weirdly horrified because
The
it
sky
doesn't
used to
feel
creep me out
exactly
so
right.
much.
Also, have you heard of Internet Pit Stop? Bro, he makes
I
some
don't know
good shit.
why.
You should subscribe.
But of course,
You know
none
what?
of this hits as hard.
I
and
will.
You can't talk about atmosphere without talking about the music. Just this eerie, unnerving, but also weirdly enticing ass music. Koji Kondo, when making the soundtrack, was told by Miyamoto that for the music of the dungeons, he wanted to emphasize atmosphere over melody and make it so realistic that you
Keep
feel
that
like
the
you
same
can
in the
smell
remake.
these places. And bro came back with this one-of-a-kind ass sound. The main thing you're hearing is this echoey wood rattling sound that immediately reminds me of the tree spirits from Princess Mononoke.
Yep.
It helps me feel like there isn't a single place in this dungeon, even in the walls, that isn't just crawling with mischievous spirits constantly watching you everywhere you go. And then there's this ghostly choir in the mix that makes the whole sound feel all hazy. Which, I don't know, feels like the sound my sleep paralysis demon hits a mean jig to while I'm silently having a panic attack. And of course, this fucking sound. It just kind of fades in and out throughout the track, and I think it's there to mimic the idea of these elusive ghosts who kind of fade in and out as you explore the temple. You just gotta appreciate the ability to make a song that so perfectly fits an imaginary
There is no-
place. Like, yes, this is
There is no bit of soundtrack in this game. How do I say this? Like, of all the temples in the game, the forest temple is the one that the music fits this temple the most. You know what I'm trying to say?
totally what this non-existent place in reality would sound like. But I think the big takeaway here is just the stark difference of these dungeons. We went from
Crushed 2 times
dungeons
through the
that had a
first
more
playthrough.
fairy tale-like feel to them,
gonna be-
storybook-esque, to fucking
There will be
surreal
tears.
horror. But while this adult portion is a lot darker in feel, and obviously is meant to mimic the idea of how when you're older shit gets more serious and it gets more real, I don't think this game is on some like doomer shit. Like, ah man, shit was better when I was a kid, being an adult sucks type beat. As sure, the forest we once knew and connected with has become a grim place. But after you find the courage to actually step forward and step into that future and help where you can, what we're met with is this.
Think a tree sprout.
We restore nature and it has this goofy ass silly face, almost reminding us
is a good
of the childlike joy from our past. It now feeling completely out of place in this new dark vibe that we got going on. But it's here, I think, to remind us what we're fighting for. That we can still find those very same vibes or feelings that we felt in our childhood now. Just because things have gotten dark, it doesn't mean there isn't still light, that we still
True.
can't find
True.
hope. And I think this is only furthermore with Sheik's words. The flow of time is always
Oh.
cool. Its speed
Classic line. This is a quote from Ocarina of Time, a quote from Zelda that's used. This quote is so used, it's used outside of Zelda games. Like, it's a profound quote now.
with Sheik's words. The flow of time is always cruel. Its speed seems different for each person, but no one can change it. A thing that does not change with time is a memory of younger days. It is something that grows over time, a true friendship, a feeling in the heart that becomes even stronger over time. The passion of friendship will soon blossom into a righteous power, and through it, you will know which way to go. Time passes, people move. Like a river's flow, it never ends. A childish mind will turn to noble ambition. Young love will become deep affection. The clear water's surface reflects growth.
Bars. Flute bars, Chic. Or Princess Zelda. Sorry, spoilers.
I think these quotes are the best reflection of
Too
what
soon.
we're supposed to take away from the stark contrast of vibes between the child and adult world. She talks about time being cruel and out of our control, which I'm sure a lot of us can deeply resonate with the older we get. But she also talks about how with time, friendships grow and people grow. That line of a childish mind will turn to noble ambition, I think it's saying that because we care and have nostalgic feelings towards these memories of what the world once felt like, that will become our ambition. That is what will push us to keep fighting. That's why after facing every one of these dark dungeons and overcoming them, we return the beauty of the world. We restore the forest, we stop Death Mountain's eruptions, we bring back the water to Lake Hylia. These quotes are so real in talking about darkness, but they're still so deeply inspirational. And I think Sheik's theme deeply reflects that and adds to the vibes of all the little moments we share with her. It sounds so reminiscent and wistful and reflective, like the sound of reconnecting with an old friend who maybe you haven't talked to in a while. So, you're maybe a bit nervous. But then you start talking and it's like, yeah, you just hung out with them yesterday or something. It's just that like relief and comfort and bliss. Easily top 3 OST for me in this game. If you're still watching at this point, comment down right now your favorite OST. Thank you very much. I think these moments existing in both of these very contrasting vibes makes me feel that Ocarina of Time wants us to question the idea that adulthood and
Ocarina of Time
childhood
and Persona
are
5.
mutually exclusive. And I think this point is hammered home with the vibe of our next area. After you finish the first 3 temples, there's a lot
Skyrim's
more
up there as
switching
well.
back between the child Link and the adult Link. For one, it makes the difference between them feel a lot less stark because you need
Fortress,
both to
wow.
complete the game now.
Well,
But also
WoW has
going
some-
back to
even
the
though I don't
child
play it,
world after you've
WoW has some
lived and
great
immersed
music.
yourself in the vibe of the adult one, it's hard to take in the
Pause.
It's hard to take in. All right, buddy. But I also feel it's harder to fully engross yourself in the same way anymore in that carefreeness of the child world because of what we've experienced and felt from growing up. Or maybe it's just that childhood was never actually as carefree as we thought it was. Having the first dungeon we do as a kid to help our adult self being one of the scariest dungeons atmosphere-wise works so fucking well thematically. You got this terrifying music with the sound of the re-deads groaning,
hope they leave Bottom of the Well
me back to when I first
as,
stepped
messed
into
up
the
as it
adult
was.
world and saw nothing but those re-deads. But now it's in the
Like, Bottom of the Well was a torture chamber. That's what it was.
child world context. This fucking thing, even just walking into the room is terrifying because you just see these hands sprouting from the ground. And it's only after they grab you that he appears.
I just worry because it's modern Nintendo.
There's so many Zelda theories on this guy. Probably one of the most terrifying creatures in this series. And again, the first time we're experiencing it,
I can't wait to
is in
see
the
it.
child context.
I can't wait to see it
Prison cells,
remade.
blood on the walls, hanging chains
See it
that
remade.
probably once held prisoners. It's a terrifying dungeon. I think the feel of it and its placement in the game, I think is trying to say that this darkness and seriousness that we experienced in the adult world was actually here all along. It was just below the surface. Though that world felt
the first time the
idyllic and
hands pop
carefree,
up,
your childhood was
terrifying.
never actually that perfect. You were at that time just unaware of the truth. which I could be overthinking, but I think that's why in this dungeon you specifically get what item? The lens of truth? When you find out the truth of your and it's using this item or knowledge of the truth that helps your adult self with probably the most horrifying vibe in this whole game.
So good, man.
Aesthetically, it uses so much horror elements. Bones and skeleton-cluttered walls, torture devices, spikes and blades. I feel like if the bottom of the well
Try to
were
attack them the
a
first time and you
catacomb
realize
or a
very quickly
prison,
that
then
is
the
not the
Shadow
strategy.
Temple feels like the underworld. I think you feel that
Unless
especially
you're like
with this ghost
super
ship.
strong.
Not only because it's a fucking ghost ship, but also just take in what's happening in the environment here. You have these ghostly spirit faces just passing through here. It just makes me feel like that this groaning I'm hearing from the OST is coming from these spirits I'm seeing. And the music in general really adds to just how dreadful and oppressive this place is. You have these haunting ass dueling chants that feel so unnatural, but in completely different ways. You have one that's like this deeper, demonic, foreboding sound. It sounds like spirits being pulled down into hell. Listen to that shit, it fucks with me. And the other voice sounds more ethereal.
Spoilers, but then the reveal, once you actually do enough damage to the hands, is really cool.
And spirit-like, which makes this place, which maybe isn't magical in its own right, this sound is what ultimately makes this place feel so otherworldly. This isn't just a temple or a dungeon, it feels like we've stepped into a whole different world. And then of course, most namely, that ritualistic drum beat you're hearing. And given that the boss we fight is Bongo Bongo, that's there to mimic the idea that this drumming we're hearing is coming from him. But before you can accept this absolutely darkest part of this game as maybe just another
literally
world,
in the
another place that isn't the one you were playing in a hidden room in this dungeon, we come to find out that we're very much in reality. Because as you're walking, you find inscribed on the wall this: here is gathered Hyrule's bloody history of greed and hatred. We learned that the most horrifying atmosphere in this whole game was done by the Kingdom of Hyrule. Not only does this add to
the Civil War,
because what the fuck, but it also adds to the uncovering of the truth of your child.
That's why, like, it should be dark. If they're gonna just remake it, don't change the story, keep it the same. And Hyrule was going through a civil war. That's like crazy story. But even like for Zelda, that's nuts.
Childlike world. Even the good guys that you're fighting for from the beginning of the game aren't exactly innocent either. And not just that, but the most wicked feeling place in the game was made by their hand. More than just experiencing the vibe of this place, I think what happens here is you come to know completely just how dark the world has always been. You've experienced both of these vibes, at one point thinking that they're completely different, but you've come to realize they're more similar than you thought. And in a way, the two have become one. And it's because of that that you are now ready to experience this. Atmosphere-wise, this final battle has always been something that stuck with me. The dark sky, the fire everywhere, the fallen castle ruins. The idea of Ganondorf letting go of his humanity to become this beast that towers over you. It's imposing and even alien feeling. And I think a cool little
this
detail
fight will
that
be
even
cool.
more adds to how serious this feels.
I'm sure.
Where typically all the bosses have like a cool little subtitle as part of their name. Evil Spirit from Beyond, Phantom Ganon. Giant Aquatic Amoeba, Morpha. Phantom Shadow Beast, Bongo Punk. But for this one, it's just Ganon. I don't know why, but I felt that shit. It really feels like you're up against the most purest form of evil incarnate. This is the Abyss. But I think This is something the vibes of Ocarina of Time has prepared you for. Because the whole time, the atmosphere of the game has been giving you the feel of this story and allowing you to feel how Link must feel. It made you fall in love with the serene, happy-go-lucky comfort of childhood, imprinting on you these areas and music and a world that became nostalgic. Then it suddenly took that shit away. It used those pure feelings you had and completely tarnished them, giving you now a world that's so bleak and lacking of that whimsy and beauty. Like how sometimes real adulthood can feel like. So many places in Ocarina feel weird and liminal because of this. To be liminal is to be in between. Much like how Link and us through this atmosphere of the game also feel in between, never fully belonging to either anymore. But then not only does it show us that the world has always been imperfect, even in the cozy vibes of our childhood, that actually it was always dark, that you can't go back to what we thought was safe. That world that we felt was never real, but our memories of it were. And I think because we love those beautiful memories of places and people and feelings that we had there, the game asks you to use your nostalgia to restore that hope and beauty that you remember. And while as adults we feel stronger and smarter and more capable, which we need, but we also, I think, feel a lot more jaded. We know how dark the world is now, and thus we might feel tired and powerless to really do anything about it. That's just how things are. What can I do? And that is where the child part of you comes in. That's where you need your childlike whimsy and belief. You are not made up of only the experiences from your past, or only these ones you experience from the future. You are the sum total of both of these experiences. Yeah, maybe there is some hesitation to try to save a world that has always been shit. And yeah, maybe it's too far gone, maybe it's daunting, maybe it's terrifying. But doing it despite all that fear, that's what courage is. And that is what you need to step into the role of the hero.
All the Xbox news was
as you and you alone
was pretty depressing.
Time itself.
At least they sold them and didn't just shut the studio. At least they gave them a chance. I can kind of like it lessens the blow a little bit. I would just never understand why they.
I think that inside every adult.
I just think it doesn't make sense why they would announce another Hellblade, well, the Hellblade spin-off, Senua, and then just be like, okay, bye, Ninja Theory. That's crazy to me.
Is the heart of a child. We just gradually convince ourselves that we have to act more like adults.
Bethesda's been not shuttered, but like hit pretty hard too. That's one of the ones that you don't really see much because everyone talks about the studios that have been sold. And Bethesda are like, they're completely like restructuring the studio. Only half the Elder Scrolls Online team are gone.
Thank you so much for deciding to light
One
your
violet.
bonfire here on this little corner of the internet. If you like what you saw today, you can give me a like and a subscribe. I always appreciate that. Working on a goal to get to 500,000 subscribers. And if you like Zelda stuff, we're going to be doing a few of these Zelda videos back to back. I kind of want to lock in this atmosphere stuff, and I feel it's only right we do Majora's Mask right after this video. So if you like this one, subscribe, because there's more coming.
If you're doing the
if you want to help
atmospheres,
me in the best way
you want
because
depressing
me doing all this
atmospheres.
green screen stuff, while it's cool, it doesn't really help me get further in the algorithm. It's on some David and Goliath shit. I'm the little guy doing all the extra effort, but the algorithm, I can't beat him. It really helps if you leave comments. It'll help push my video into the algorithm. Comment down this video got motion, or if you want to support me in the best way you can do that on my my Patreon for as little as $3. There's some cool
Oh my
extra
God.
content on there that you can
You've got
get.
to add a dinosaur to the
polls you can
Hyrule
do,
Field.
or if you want to be an absolutely
Legend.
ridiculous
Oh my God.
person,
I thought the
like
same
these
thing,
people
bro.
you see here. These people are my highest Patreon tier. At my highest tier, you get a whole bunch of stuff, but also you get a pixel art character like these people that shows up at the end, sometimes in between my videos. And actually, we have a few new ones that I gotta announce, so let me show y'all. First up, we got Jade, which is with
video, though.
jeans and Vans.
I love
And
Ocarina of Time
fuck with this
retrospectives.
wide. Thank you so much for coming to this little pit stop on the corner of the internet. Peace.
That was fun. I enjoyed that.